Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Okay, so we are in chapter 14, 3 modes of material nature. Right? Yes, thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. So before that, let us pay obeisance to Sri Radharada Govinda. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Nananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmitam Ena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Ena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavscha Shri Rupam Sagarajatam Sagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadotam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakana Vittamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dino Bandho Jagat Pate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatra Abhyascha Kripa Sindhavevacha Patitam Nam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravane Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatesha Tarine Jayo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna. So what we were doing last week, we were just looking at chapter 13. It was that we started a new section, Jnana Yoga, right? Here, Krishna is talking about material nature. That is the Prakriti. Till now we learned about Ishvara, Jiva, then we looked at Kala, then we looked at Karma. Now we are looking at Prakriti in more detail. How that? So here Krishna started off with Krishna asking what is Prakriti. Purusha is the enjoyer. Kshetra, Kshetrajna, Jnanam, Niyam. Then Krishna first talked about Kshetra. Kshetra is nothing but our body, our material body. And in which who are the living, who is the knower of this body? There are two people. One is the Jiva, the other one is the Super Soul, Paramatma. Both are in the Kshetrajna. And knowledge about the relationship between the Kshetra, Kshetrajna and the Prakriti and thing is the Jnana, is the knowledge. And the object of knowledge is both. We should know about the Jiva as well as about the Paramatma. So all the activities. So we are stuck in this body. The Jiva is in the thing. And this field of activities depends on the body he has got. If he's in the human body, he can't fly like a bird, nor like he swim like a fish in the water. He has to be, but he can fly through, take an airplane or take a boat, he can cross the ocean. But there are activities which is bound by the particular body he has got, right? So that is the field of activities. He can only interact within that field. Like an ant can only act within that body. A lion can act only with that body, like that. So then he is asking about the question of the process of knowledge. How do you get? Then he listed about 20 qualities where we need to take the bona fide master, submissively, be humble, pridelessness, and so many things which we need to cultivate. That is the process of knowledge and liberation. So finally, he came to the Prakriti and Purusha. How is the thing? Because of the association with the material world, the Jiva, which is actually a transcendental body, the soul gets conditioned. It gets conditioned by the gunas it has, the Prakriti. And it got association with those nature it carries. It becomes It thinks it is the body and it cultivates. And there we saw one more thing is Prakriti is also eternal, the Jiva is also eternal. So our association is also eternal. I mean that when the Mahatattva occurs and we come into this material world, we get entangled into this Prakriti with this material body. And then if we understand this science, then if you understand this knowledge, and you know the super soul is there, who is overseer and the permitter, then you will understand there's somebody. If you are understanding there's somebody within you, overseeing you, then you'll be more careful, right? So with this knowledge, you can come out of this liberation. So we saw that. Then again, he talks about liberation and condition. In this chapter, he is going to expand about the modes of nature. What are the gunas, how it is binding us, what is this, we are in this place. It is like a prison house, right? We don't know where the prison house is, like invisible, and we are pulled by the gunas. Gunas are nothing but ropes. And how this soul, actually soul is transcendental. It is spirit. We know the difference between the soul and the body. And the body, as we said in the last chapter, made of 24 elements. But how did they get into it? How does it get bound to this body? What is the nature? How is the thing? By these gunas, what is the rope? Then we are looking at the supremacy of the modes, action and death, and transcending the modes. How to come out of it. So liberation and condition. So the Lord says, again I shall declare to you this supreme wisdom, the best of all knowledge, knowing which all the sages have attained to supreme perfection. So here we see King Nema and 9 Yogendras. They are the sons of Rishabha, King Rishabha. And then King Nema was conducting a yajna. And when he was doing that, these 9 sages came and they imparted quite a lot of wisdom to many queries which the king had asked, and they elaborated. And that one was the modes of nature also. So this is explained very well in Canto 11, Srimad Bhagavatam, chapters 2 and 5. So here, by understanding that how the sages have attained supreme perfection, and why this best of knowledge in this section, I mean not, we saw in 9th chapter also, no, he says, Guhantara, what is the most confidential knowledge? How do you get the birth? And here he says you can attain supreme perfection. And these are the names of the 9 sages. By becoming fixed in this knowledge. So this is the knowledge which is imparting to us how we get entangled here, how to get, and how this supreme prison house is like, and how do we get associated, and what are these qualities of this nature of this house, and how we get conditioned here, and what is the type of the prison house, why we have come here, and that also we are entangled birth after birth, right? It's not that you are only one time you have come to the prison house and not that, but you have come into this body. Birth after birth, we are doing that. And why is it so? And how to get it. So he says, if you become fixed in this knowledge, you can attain the transcendental nature, which is like my own nature. That means we will get back our original constitution. That's a Satchitananda. Okay. Thus established, one is not born at the time of creation, nor disturbed at the time of dissolution. So that means once you come out of the cycle of the birth and death, then again when the Mahatattva occurs, when the annihilation occurs, this cosmic universe goes and then it gets created, you don't come back. You are in the spiritual sky. So this is how this knowledge can help us. So he says about that, by becoming fixed in this knowledge. So what is this in chapter? This chapter tells us how to get liberation. Liberation from what? Liberation from this prison house. Freedom from this prison house, and how we get entangled and afraid of others. So this is how do we got into this jail and how we come, what is the characteristics. Then you can attain the supreme perfection. So by understanding this and getting fixed in this knowledge, you can get freedom. Now it starts off. So if we have been in this birth and death, how did we come in? So here Krishna says himself clearly, Mama Yonir Mahat Brahma, Tasmin Garbham Dadayam Aham, Sambhava Sarva Bhutanam Tato Bhavati Bharat. The total material substance called Brahman is the source of birth. And it is that Brahman that I impregnate, making possible the birth of all living beings, O son of Bharata. So this word Brahman, no, it is used in different contexts. It has got different, depending on the context, we have to take that meaning. Here it is called total materials. What happens is when Mahatattva occurs, when the creation is taking place and the Lord Brahma is given the task of creating, sub-creating, secondary creation, that time he creates all the 14 planets in our thing, and then living entities have to be impregnated. And what is the body they have to get? That blueprint is given by the Mahavishnu. Because you would have gone into the Garbha of the Vishnu, and he knows what is the body you need from your past karma and the thing, and to whether you have to be in the human body or in the body of a demigod or the body of the animals or thing, depending on that, he impregnates. And that means once he gives that information, then accordingly the material nature will create a body, and into that the seed will be impregnated. So Mother Nature is like a mother, and father is the seed-giving father is the Mahavishnu. So here he clearly says, I impregnate, making possible the birth of all living beings, so son of Bharata. So that's how we come. Why we have come? We desire to enjoy ourselves, and we invade the Lord's ownership. We wanted to be the master. We wanted to enjoy because of our desires. The Lord has said, okay, you go ahead, desire, fulfill your material desires, and then come back to me. But he has given us the Vedas. He has given us Bhagavad Gita. He's not only put us in the prison house, he has also given us the Bhagavad Gita, telling us what is right, what is wrong, and how to go back to it. Okay, so that is what it should be understood that all species of life, O son of Prithvi, are possible by birth in this material nature, and I am the seed-giving father. Sarva yonishu kaunteya murtaya sambhavanti tasam brahma mahad yonir aham bija pratapita. So he is very clear in this. He is the one seed-giving father, and the Brahma has done nothing. He has only had to give the material body. So birth after birth, the next birth, and her duration would be only short duration. Okay. And then the next birth depends upon what karma we have done and what we have done. That is the destiny. So you get another body. Like that, we get body after the body, and we transmit. And the body has got both gross body as well as a subtle body, as I said. So we go with that mentality. So he says he is a seed-giving father. He is the one who puts us there. Okay. So here how the soul comes into the material world and is placed within the Krishna is giving a very clear picture. Okay. So Mother Nature is supplying with the body. Okay. And Lord puts him there by his potent glance, and thus impregnates the material nature with the seed. So for the man he gets into that, and then we get into this thing. So this is how the living entity comes by the thing. Then what happens? So once you comes in, you see here, there are 3 ladies here, and you have 2 people here. One is instructing the other one how to dig the soil, okay, with a spade. So he is the boss and he is the servant. But what these 2 people don't understand is he thinks I am the boss, and this person thinks I am the servant, and I am doing the work for him and this. But actually these 2 are being controlled by the gunas. What does the above invisible gunas rule? And this nature is controlled by it. Once you're in this material world, you're bound by the nature, laws of this nature. Okay. So, and with what qualities you have got. So here, Krishna says material nature consists of three modes: Sattva guna, Rajas guna, and Tamas. When the living entity comes in contact with the nature, he becomes conditioned by these modes. Sattvam Rajas Tamamiti, Guna Prakriti Sambhavaha, Nibadanti Mahabahu, Dehe Dehinam. So this, you might see how people have these three different natures. Actually, even if they're born in the same family, the children will have different qualities, isn't it? We can see that they might be in the same environment, same parents, but each one will have a different qualities, nature. Even we ourselves have a different natures. So this is happens, and this is comes conditioned by these modes, and we get attracted. So Sattva-guna, Rajas-guna, and this. And actually, this present house doesn't mean that it's meant for punishment. Actually, Krishna says, okay, so merciful. He says, go there, enjoy your material desires, and lead a regulated life and come back to him. And ultimate goal should be to go back to him, to come out of this thing. And for that, he has given a lot of instructions and things how to go back, right? So, and now we understand that because of our desire, we have got entangled in this material world. And once you come here, we forget our true identity and we get conditioned by the body. We think this is the body and we are in this body, we are this and that. So that identity, we start getting it, forgetting our true identity. So how? Because actually it's an eternal living entity, because it comes in contact with material nature, goodness, passion, and ignorance. He is conditioned and is forced to act according to these modes, and he is limited by the body he gets and he acts accordingly. Okay. So then Tatra Sattvam Nirmalatvat Prakasha Sakam Anamayam Sukha Sangena Badnati Gnana Sangena Janaka. So here now, if you have understood, then what do you mean by Sattva Guna? What do you mean by Rajas Guna? What do you mean by Tamas Guna? So Krishna is giving clearly the nature, what it is. If you are in the mode of goodness, it is purer than the others. Others are Rajas Guna and Tamas, and it is illuminating. It means when you have knowledge, you feel, when you have things, then it is. If you don't have any knowledge, you're in darkness. So it's illuminating means that you are in knowledge, and it frees, you're free from, because you are in knowledge, you know what is right, what is wrong. So you will be trying to be more doing the right actions. So you'll be free from most of the sinful reactions. But so in this way, you will be developing knowledge, and that they can become contaminated by the concept of happiness. So here Prabhupada says very nicely. Yeah. So anyone want to read? Hare Krishna. Hema Mataji. Hema Mataji. Hare Krishna. The living entities.
Yes, Mataji. Just a minute. The living entities conditioned by material nature are of various types. One is happy, another is very active, and another is helpless. All these types of psychological manifestations are causes of the entities conditioned status in nature. How they are differently conditioned is explained in this section of Bhagavad Gita. The mood of goodness is the first considered. The effect of developing the mood of goodness in the material world is that one becomes wiser than those otherwise conditioned. A man in the mood of goodness is not so much affected by material miseries and And
he
he
has
has a sense of advancement in material knowledge. The representative type is the Brahmana, who is supposed to be situated in the mode of goodness. This sense of happiness is due to understanding that in the mode of goodness, one is more or less free from sinful reactions. Actually, in the Vedic literature, it is said that the mode of goodness means greater knowledge and a greater sense of happiness.
So this is what happens once you're, so people, how do we understand we are in the mode of goodness? I think that is when you are in, it is by being happy, and also you are able to develop knowledge. So knowledge and happiness. But there's a problem here. So the Krishna Prabhupada talks about the difficulty here. Is here that when a living entity is situated in mukha's, he becomes conditioned to feel that he is advanced. So he feels that he is advanced in knowledge and is better than others. So becomes conditioned, becomes proud of his knowledge, right? And because he's so proud, and also the best examples given here by Prabhupada is a scientist and philosopher. Each is proud of his knowledge. And because they generally, because of the knowledge, they're able to improve their living conditions. So they get a sort of material happiness. And because they get into that advanced happiness and think, they go into a comfort zone, so they get conditioned to make them bound. So that being in that mode of goodness also, what happens, you can get attracted to become conditioned to become things. So, and that way some type of, so they get attracted to become, they're quite satisfied with it. And so they don't go beyond that. They don't go searching for the bliss. That is why you get it when you get the perfection stage. They get stuck there. Okay. So this, then there is no likelihood of liberation because of being transferred to the spiritual world. Repeatedly, they may become a philosopher, a scientist, or poet, or they get entangled like with the same disadvantage. But the illusion of they are not, but because the Maya is so great, they think that this is the life. So this is what happens to the people who are in the mode of goodness. Okay, and how they are in the entanglement, because they get to become too satisfied. Okay, so become conditioned by the concept of happiness. All right, what happens to the people who are in mode of passion? Mode of passion is born of what? Unlimited desires and longings, and because of this, they are bound to material fruitive activities. What happens to them? They have lot of desires. Okay, because of their lot of desires, because of actually mode of it's satisfied by the attraction between man and woman, as attraction for man and man as attraction for man. This is called mode of passion. When mode of passion is increased, he develops hankering for material enjoyment. He wants to enjoy sense gratification, then because he is in the mode of passion, he wants honor in the society, he wants to have a happy family. Actually, these are all products of mode of passion. That's what Prabhupada writes. And here he says the modern civilization today is considered to be advanced in the standard of the mode of passion. People today, they only think about our success in the way of living, how we are achieved, we got a house, so we got educated, we have got so many degrees, we have this thing. So they only look at our success by that, right? They don't see about the ethics, about how we are, whether which are how we are in the mode of goodness, but and there's a lot of competition. So today, most of the modern civilization is considered to be advanced if you are in the standard of mode of passion. Earlier in Sattva Yoga, it was mode of goodness, but here it is not. So when you can't even get liberation in the mode of goodness, whether get in mode of passion. That's what here is the difficult. Okay. So let me see where I got stuck. So this is what happens. So what happens to the people who are in the mode of ignorance? They cause delusion of all living entities. The result of this mode is madness. It's not madness means they think this is, they're ignorant. They don't want, ignorant of spiritual activity. Okay. That is, even if there's something to be done, they like to postpone it. They know that things have to be done, but they won't do it. They are very lazy. They are indifferent and they like to procrastinate. And that would be their nature. So what happens with that? They are in. So illuminating, this is what happens in the goodness. They are conditioned because by so even the goodness also will bind them. Okay. They are free from all sinful reactions and they are situated more because the sense of happiness and good. That's what we saw. And who are they? They are the scientists, philosophers, and poets. And Brahmana represent mode of goodness. So goodness is happy, passion is active, ignorance is helpless. And what we saw in passion, and even in 18th chapter, Prabhupada writes about the happiness. Because happiness, when you're in the mode of goodness, in the beginning it might be difficult, but in the end, it will be, beginning it will be like poison, but in the end it will be in the nectar. That is the kind of happiness in mode of goodness. So here in passion, what happens? Because they have so much of hankering for this thing, desires is so much, unlimited. If they'll always be working for that, towards the results. And they want honor the society, want happy family. So it's not that you should not have, but it will be so much, that even if they get 2 houses, they want to get 2 more. Even if they get something, they want some more and some more and some more. So it keeps on going on. Hankering will never stop. And what happens? There's no chance of liberation. And this is what's happening today. And this is what our modern civilization looks like. So this is binds by the rope of desire and attachment. And we get attached to that results. We think this is what we want and this is how we are greedy. We are attached to the results, which are the goals. And we put in lot of effort into that, trying to get that achieved. So this is, people are in the mode of passion. Ignorance, what happens? As you said, they cause madness because though they know that things are, people are dying, people think, but still they keep on adding more things, or they will be indifferent. They don't want to work, they're lazy, and they'll sleep more. That means they won't, even if the work is there and think they want to. And doesn't mean that if become your devotee, you won't be caught in these modes. All of us are caught by these modes of nature. Whether you're devotee or not devotee, or think every living entity, once you're in this material world, we are caught in this modes of nature. And you might think, what is it? What are we getting attached to? We are conditioned by our bad habits, by our temptations, by people when we provoke us, we get into that. So there are so many things which each one of us have got. It's not that we are all pure. We are all have our own misgivings, bad habits, bad temptations. We get tempted to so many things, sense gratification, and we get provoked when people talk to us like that. So and it could be any of these modes, right? So the mode of goodness conditions one to happiness, passion conditions him to the fruits of action, and ignorance to madness. Okay. Madness means because even if it is, they don't want to know it. They don't want to learn. They don't want to think. So that is the kind of madness they are in. And now Krishna talks in these verses how there is the supremacy of a mode within a person. It's not that one will be always in the mode of goodness throughout the day, throughout his life. But the mode of passion becomes prominent, some defeating the mode of goodness. And sometimes the mode of goodness defeats passion, and other times mode of ignorance defeats. So there's always a conflict. So even during the day, in some part of the day, you might be in the mode of goodness, some part of the day you might be in passion, or in some part of the day you might be in, for some, depending upon the situations, depending on what you're putting, you could be in any of the modes or in any of those combinations. So, yeah. Because, and here Prabhupada writes a nice thing. The purport was good. I think we can go to that purport. So he says that, therefore, one who is actually intent, want to advance in Krishna consciousness, he has to transcend these modes. Okay. The prominence of certain mode of nature is manifested in one's dealings, in our activities, in acting, everywhere. It's not that it's only in particular situations or things, but we are in any of these things. All this will be explained later. But if one wants, he can develop by practice. See, this is what here's by practice, mode of goodness, and thus defeat the mode of ignorance. And it's only by practice, by consciously. So once you are conscious of it, that these are the things which is happening, then you can develop. You can similarly develop mode of passion, defeat goodness and ignorance, or you can develop mode of ignorance and defeat goodness. Depends upon yourself, or for their choice. If one is determined, he can be blessed by the mode of goodness, and by transforming the mode of goodness, he can be situated in pure goodness. So if you can be determinedly be in the mode of goodness, you can go to this pure one, which is they call the Vasudeva state. So here the choice is ours. Why this knowledge is being given? So that we can understand which mode we have to be in and how it happens. Only by practice we can be in that mode of goodness. Okay. So manifestation mode can be experienced when all the gates of knowledge. And what do you mean by all the gates? We have so many gates, like 2 eyes, 2 ears, nostrils, mouth, the genitals, and all. So at least we know what we should see and what we should hear and what should we speak about, how to use our senses. So we can, by being in the mode of the things, we can, all this be eliminated by knowledge. We will know what is to be done, what is not to be done with our senses. Okay. Whereas when there is an increase in the mode of passion, the symptoms of great attachment, uncontrollable desire, anchoring occurs. So we can, why is this given? So that we can understand by which mode are we in. When this anchoring occurs, an intense endeavor, because you want to have that more and more, what happens? You will be putting more and more effort to get it. Whereas in the mode of goodness, you'll be quite satisfied with what you have, because you know that there's no need to have 4 houses or 10 houses, because 2 or 3 is more than enough. You can be in that. You'll be satisfied with that, and you won't put in that much effort to have build in your wealth or anything else, right? Because you know what is what and that. Whereas the mode of passion, you want more and more and thing, and you're attached to it, the thing, to the uncontrollable desire, anchoring, that intense endeavor. And you can see people like that. And there is an increase in the mode of ignorance, madness, illusion, inertia, and darkness are manifested. Because you get addicted to certain things, you get illusion, you think that is right, and what we are saying is wrong, and they will go in the wrong way. Okay, and you think that is the way. Or he won't even bother to do anything. He feels, what they think, anyway, the society is doing this way, I'll just follow them, I'll follow that, and whether I'll go along with the crowd. So that will be this mentality. You won't think whether it's right. I know you'll just go along with what the group says, what his teammates say, what is the thing, you won't think about it. So these are the things, they are in the mode of ignorance. Namaskar. Okay. So now Krishna is going to tell us about, now we talked about what the nature would be, what are the symptoms, and whether they get liberated, and how they get conditioned. So unless you go to the beyond the goodness, beyond the modes of nature, only you can achieve the Vasudeva state. And how all these modes are all not there, it will be neither one of the modes depend, and it's not limited only to non-devotees, even to devotees. Even if you are in Krishna conscious path, you are still subjected because you are in this material world, right? So you get caught into that. Now, Krishna talks about what happens at death to one predominated by specific mode, and results of actions by one predominated by a specific mode. Action and death within the modes. Okay. So one dies in the mode of goodness, he attains to the more pure higher planets. So this is what happens. Because he is in the mode of goodness, his punya would have been thing, and his sinful reactions would have been reduced. So he will be eligible to go to higher planets, but not to this spiritual sky. Within the universe, he can go to higher planets, even go to the planet of Brahmaloka or Satyaloka, or to the Svargaloka and things, higher planets. So this one. Here in this picture, you see Narad Muni is teaching the sons of Daksha, had 1,000 sons. So they all have to go to forest to do tapas before they enter Grasta Ashram. So when they come here, when they meet Narad Muni, and he talks about this, that the best is to go back to that the aim of your living is to go back to the back for that. Because of that, all of them won't leave, take to Grastashram. They immediately go to severe austerity, take up sannyas. So Daksha was very unhappy. And this is the thing when Narada Muni is preaching all these sons of Daksha. So when one dies in the mode of goodness, he attains pure higher planets of the 8 sages. But when one dies in the mode of passion, he takes birth among those engaged in fruitive activities. And that when he dies in the mode of ignorance, he takes birth in the animal kingdom. Okay. Karmana suptasya satvikam nirmalam phalam rajastu phalam dukkam ajnanam tamasam phalam. So by acting in the mode of goodness, one becomes purified. Works done in the mode of passion result in distress, and actions performed in ignorance result in foolishness. So let us see the. Sorry. I think we. So the result of pious activities in the mode of goodness is pure, right? Therefore, sages who are free from all illusion are situated happiness. But activities in the mode of passion are simply miserable. Any activity for material happiness is bound to be defeated. If one wants to have build a skyscraper, so much of human misery has to be undergone before a big skyscraper can be built. Financiers has to take much trouble to earn a mass of wealth, and those who are slaving to construct the building have to render physical toil. So the Bhagavad Gita says that in any activity performed under spell of mode of passion, there is definitely great misery. So the mental happiness of this house or this thing is not actual happiness. What happens to the mode of ignorance? The performer is without knowledge, right? Therefore, all his activities are okay. The performer is without knowledge. Therefore, all his activities result in misery. Afterwards, he will go on towards animal life. because he is only doing more of sinful activities. So once it is more and more settings, he goes to the lower planets or to the like. So they are under the illusion Maya. They don't understand this. And also here Prabhupada writes another thing. Sorry. The animal killers do not know that in the future the animal will have a body suitable to kill them. So that's what happens. If you kill an animal, that animal will take a body to suitably to kill you. That is the law of nature. But this nobody understands. So every son of God, even an ant being killed. So in Krishna's world, everything is controlled by Krishna. So Prabhupada writes, there is no need to kill animals because God has supplied us so many nice things. If one indulges in meat eating anyway, it is understood that he is eating in acting in ignorance, so his future is. So there is a lot of thing there in the scriptures. Okay. So one must be, so real, in modern society, the spiritual knowledge is neglected and killing is understood is we are going in the wrong direction and we are clearing the path to own condemnation. Civilization which guides the citizens to become animals in their next lives is certainly not a human situation. Okay, that means we are mostly, we are in the mode of passion and ignorance today, and it is very dangerous. And the easiest process is Krishna consciousness. So here the price, of course, grossly misled by the modes of passion and ignorance, very dangerous. So we saw the actions, we saw the results. From the mode of real knowledge develops, from mode of passion, grief develops, and from mode of ignorance, foolishness, madness, and illusion develop. So Prabhupada writes, because people have no education in actual knowledge, they become irresponsible. To stop this irresponsibility, education for developing the mode of goodness of the people in general must be there. So at least if you are not in the passion, at least you have a thing, at least you can develop the mode of goodness. So that will be, because then you will be able to develop more knowledge. Then people will be happy and prosperous. If the majority of people aren't happy and prosperous, at least certain percentage of the population develops Krishna consciousness and becomes situated, then there is a possibility of praise. So he says, okay, I know that not many people, not all will take the Krishna consciousness. Even if few people take, it's at least that is enough. They can have a peace and prosperity all over the world. So that's what here Krishna is trying to tell us, to be in the mode of goodness. Try to do that so that real knowledge develops. So we saw what happens, the results in the thing. Krishna consciousness helps us to develop mode of goodness. People can see things as they are, then they can be in properly happiness. Whereas passion develops, greed develops. Greed and always hankering for sense gratification without any limits. So you don't have happiness, no peace of mind. And ignorance develops illusion, madness, and okay. So no knowledge, irresponsible, cannot see things as they are, being distressed, take shelter of intoxication. So those situated in the mode of goodness gradually go upward to higher planets. Those in passion live on the earthly planets. And those in the mode of ignorance down to the hellish worlds. We'll stop with this, because how to transcend these modes and how do you get, we see tomorrow. Okay, now we'll just take. Stop.